arrive at the greenhouse in the spring, what do I plant and where? Today I thought I would take an opportunity at the end of summer to show you some results that I had from growing different kinds of begonias in some kind of unusual spots for where you would normally think to plant begonias. I'm Sandra, and thank you for joining me on my channel on Modern Living and for taking some time in my garden with me tonight to see the different flowers I grew. So the first thing I thought I would show you is my dragon wing begonias, which are absolutely fantastic. They're so full and vigorous growing. I've been so impressed with how these did this summer. And to be honest, they weren't my first choice for this location because this is a west-facing wall and the sun lays in here all afternoon. Basically from noon right on through till sunset, this side of my house gets full sun. And with the sun radiating off the bricks as well, I thought it was going to be way too hot a spot for them. But this spring was so crazy at the greenhouses, and the plants that I wanted were all sold out before I got a chance to take my own plants home. So I planted dragon wing begonias. These are a pink dragon wing begonia, and I was just so impressed with how well they did. So I know we've often told people that dragon wing begonias are a part shade flower, which they can be as well, but these guys did absolutely fantastic in full sun. So that's my first begonia that I'm going to show you. I've got a whole bunch of begonias, so let's check out the next ones. On either side of me here in my garden in my big blue pots, I have Iconia Begonias. Iconia Begonias are a relatively new series of begonias. I believe these ones are Miss Malibu and First Kiss. I think that's the way it is. Either it's, or I keep getting the two confused. They're very, very similar. They both flower very vigorously. I did find I grew, I think, 4 different kinds of Iconia begonias, and some of them are much more vigorous growing than others. Both of these are fantastic. Now, these are really, really big pots. I think they're an 18-inch square pot. There's only 4 4-inch pots in here. So they really have done very, very well, and I will definitely plant them again in these pots. Now, these planters get full morning sun, and they get sun till midday, and then they don't get afternoon sun. Not very much anyways, because these big branches are hanging over top of them, so they get a little bit of midday sun, but I would say the real heat of the afternoon sun they didn't get, and they have just been fantastic. But I do have an Iconia begonia in another spot that I'm going to show you, so let's head over there next. This is also an Iconia begonia, and he doesn't look nearly as happy, and I'm not sure if it's that he didn't get enough fertilizer here in this pot. I think he did. Or if it was just that there was too much sun here. I believe this one is a First Kiss begonia, and when I show you my other pot of First Kiss begonias, you'll understand what I mean about him not looking so great. He's just kind of leggy, and he didn't flower as nicely, and so I'm not sure, like I said, if it's just a combination of sun or if it also has to do with the fact that he maybe needed a little bit more fertilizer than he got. Either way, it's still a nice looking pot, and it is almost the middle of September, so I can't expect things to keep looking great all summer long, but this one certainly didn't do as well as the other ones did. Now let's go check out the other pot I have with this lucky strike in it, and I think you'll be impressed with the difference. This is my back patio where I have planters along the edge. And I planted begonias in all 3 of these planters, and you can see they're substantially different. They're all Iconia begonias, believe it or not. This, I believe, again, is Miss Malibu, which, like I said before, fantastic. This is Lucky Strike. Remember that one out front I showed you that hardly had any flowers on it? This is the same kind of begonia. Now, I did fertilize this one maybe a little more, and it also gets more shade. Because of the shade trees I have growing along my laneway here, the afternoon sun doesn't really pound on it, so I think that that's made a difference. Now, here's my most disappointing begonia. It looked great earlier this season. Part of the problem is I think that this canna lily and the inch plant have totally taken over and given my poor little champagne begonias no room to grow. But even so, I did also plant this champagne color in my hanging pots, and they're okay, but they're really nothing to write home about. I was kind of disappointed with them, to be honest with you. I wouldn't use this begonia again, to be really candid. The champagne one didn't really do much for me. I have one other one I'm going to show you on the backside, an Iconia that's Miss Montreal. I have a lot of begonias. Just hang tight. We'll go right over there in a second. Okay, this begonia here is, I believe, Miss Montreal. Such a pretty color, and it was doing really good until my chickens decided they liked begonias, and they kind of made a mess in this flower bed. So don't judge Miss Montreal this year out of my flower bed, because like I said, my chickens kind of did a number on them. This was a different one. This was a Bossa Nova, I think, begonia. Also nice, and a weed. I'm going to pull that weed. My Bossa Nova begonia is also really pretty, but again, the chickens kind of took a number on them, so I can't really say for sure. I think they'd be a great begonia. Now, there's one more I'm going to show you that's a little bit different. Hold on. Now, these guys here are one of my favorites. I have no idea what the variety is, and I can't even tell you where to find them because they came to me as from a cutting from one of my aunts, which is kind of a neat thing. She's, I think she just keeps taking cuttings off her own plants every year and grows more. They're a variegated leaf, which is what I find is so cool. Now, they are like a busy Lizzie, kind of like a wax begonia. So they're not going to be as prolific as a lot of my other specialty begonias, but I just like them because they're a novelty kind of thing that I can't get anywhere at a garden center. I have to get them from my aunt. This year I'm going to be taking lots of cuttings myself and hoping to propagate some for next year. And it's just kind of a neat thing when you've got somebody like that that shares some of their plants with you. So the last begonia that I'm going to share with you tonight is this baby wing white, which is a relative of the dragon wing that we started off with. They're in the same kind of series anyways. And again, we often don't think of this one as being a full shade or full sun plant, but my baby wing white here was planted again right beside my dragon wings. It's in full sun all afternoon. Well, from 11 o'clock in the morning on, full sun, no shade anywhere to be found, and it has just really flourished. To be honest with you, I had actually planted some of these Diplodenia vines in here with a different plant that couldn't tolerate the sun. I had bought a tropical plant that I assumed would be good for sun, and it was just getting completely burnt. The leaves were all fried. So I yanked it out of the middle in probably late July, it was probably late July, and I potted one 6-inch baby wing white in here, and I gave it a little trim so it would fill in really nice, and I'm just so impressed with how well it's done in the last couple months of summer. It just looks so pretty, and so I definitely would recommend this one as well. The baby wing white, just fantastic. I may even put that in my hanging baskets next year. We'll see. I am so undecided about what to put in my hanging baskets every year, so I change it up all the time. Sometimes I have greater success than others. This year was not a particularly successful year in the hanging basket department, so I'm going to be working on that for next season. But I know it's so hard when you're at the greenhouse in the spring and you see these little 4-inch pots, and it's like so hard to imagine what they're going to be like throughout the season. So I thought I'd take you on a little tour of my garden, show you some of the success I've had and some of the ones that weren't quite so successful, so that next spring when you're out shopping in the garden centers that you have a bit of an idea of what to get. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you like my channel and you enjoy my videos, I hope that you'll subscribe. Thank you so much.